Hi guys, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining me. Hi to Dislime's Market, the Swedish Orc, Brickmatey, Willie Brickstore, Ralph's Bricks. Way, welcome Ralph, how are you doing? Andrew Horner and Andy of Norfolk Bricks, how are you all doing? I know some of you will have joined the previous live stream that I did, and it seemed to be relatively successful, so I thought I'd give it all another go and see how we do. Got some things here to sort through, but the aim is really just to have a bit of a chat and see how we're all doing and answer any questions really. So we'll just give it a few minutes for other people to join. Hello, love your videos, thanks very much. Hi Rita, how are you doing? Matthew Reynolds, hi. And Anton, how are you doing? Martin Cedric, hi. So lots of people still joining. Brick Britain, hope you're all well, and maybe just if I don't know you, just drop something in the chat to let me know where you're from. I know on the last call we had people from the Asia Pacific region, North America, Europe, UK, everywhere, and it was really good to see everyone. So always interesting to see where you all are. So what I've got today, not a lot. I've got a few other trays around me if I need them to fall back on to be doing more rather than chatting, but I'm just going to sort through some accessories probably while we get chatting, and see what comes up from you all. Aaron Webb, hi. Jimmy Porter, why is it so dark? Is it dark, Ralph? Is that a joke because of the lights? I'm assuming it is. Hi from Sweden, the Swedish Orc, Austria. Thanks, Christian. Hi, Brickcycle. Scotland. Hi, Brick Britain. Can only stay on for an hour. That's fine. You stay as long or as little as you want. I'm probably going to be here for an hour to maybe an hour and a half. We'll see how it goes. But I've got to get into the missus, of course, and spend some time later watching TV, etc. Hi Colin, how are you doing? Nice to see you join. Skegness, hi from Skegness, or hi to Skegness rather. So what have we all been up to? Orders going well, you're getting lots in. I must admit it's probably slowed a little bit this week for me, although I did have a reasonable order in today for about £120 or something, which was a nice little order, and there's only 34 lots, so it was nice to pick as well. I know we're all heading into the period of, you know, slow down, I think, after the Christmas rush, you know, from November onwards is probably when things really start to get busy. And I always find that probably once we get, a little early yet, but once we get into end of March, April, things are really starting to slow down a little bit. Hi Mark, how are you doing? Hi Kevin. And if any of you have got any suggestions when I'm sorting here of how you might do things better, or, you know, be more organised, I'm happy to hear any suggestions. I need to, as many of you will be aware, I need to start tackling all of the used bulk that I've got back at the container before too long. and I really need to get more organised with how I'm sorting the used parts in particular. I need to get more of a system set up and in place. Hi Michael, question from Mark. Do you have any issues with fakes, third-party ones? Have you had issues with them? Not massively, to be honest. I have had some fakes, some fake Star Wars stuff. Usually seems to be the most predominant. Ninjago as well, I've seen copies of, but not something I've suffered from enormously, to be honest. Of course, when we get to the bricks, then I've seen a lot of bricks that are fake, obviously. I'm sure we all have, you know, lots of Mega Blocks and Kobe and all sorts of stuff. No, not too much in terms of accessory wise, at least, like this. And the way I do this as well, by the way, I'm not doing any kind of quality check at the moment. So all I'll do at the moment is I'm looking to sort type, and then as I go through the items and sort of put them into each item type, then as I'm counting, I'll go through a quality check then, and that's just how I do it. The way I find easiest, rather than trying to quality check them now as I'm picking them up. It's just, you know, not worth it. Things like this is nice, and this is why you sort accessories. A little tomahawk there that's probably worth 150, something like that, I would think. It's a different kind of arm or something that I've seen, some droid or whatever. We've got skateboards here. Anthony recently sold 30k Lego parts to one customer at local pickup. Wow, 30,000. Was that the sale of a store, or was that just an order? What was that? $30,000's incredible. I don't honestly know what the highest order lot count wise is that I've sold in one go. Most of the parts from a pick-a-brick wall. Do many of you have you know, success with buying from the pick-a-brick wall? It's not part of my business model personally, mainly because I don't have easy access to a Lego store. So I don't utilize the pick-a-brick wall much at all, and in fact one of the reasons for that is, I guess, that you know, I'd say everybody, but a lot of people hit the pick-a-brick wall just for convenience. You know, if they're close to a Lego store, there's another tomahawk, then I guess it's easy for them to pop in to the Lego store, see what's new on the wall, and add it to the store. And I guess, you know, adding it for variety's sake is all well and good, but I think, you know, I've seen things before when I have visited the store and picked things up, and they're just not moved because they're absolutely swamped. You know, the marketplace just gets flooded with them, and then it's a race to the bottom and who can sell them the cheapest. So I don't, you know, make a great deal of use from that. Good point, Colin, about it being half term. That could be why it's a little bit slower. No kids at school this week. Been partying out all day. I've been trying to sort some of my drawers out to make more space for the used. I don't know how much you all follow me and take great note, but one of the walls I've got that I'm trying to keep for used, I'd previously had new at one end and used at the other, and I'm trying to make it all used, so I'm having to move out some of the new parts to other areas in the store. So I've been doing some of that today, and you'll see in the vlog this week that I made a bit of a cock up with my numbering. so you can all have a good laugh at me when you see that. Hi Daddy Old Bricks. Hi Curran 666. Yeah, the tiles and masonry bricks are really good on the pick a brick wall. I will give you that. And I think I saw that there are grey tiles on there at the moment, which I must admit I would have liked some of, but I'm going to make a special trip just for that. And my Lego store nearest one is about an hour and a half away. So you know, certainly not on my doorstep. Even Keith watching from my Lego room while sorting myself. Check the latest High Tea Toys for a look at my store. Will do, Matthew. And what about you guys in terms of watching other vlogs then? And maybe how many other people are there on here who are vloggers themselves? I know Ralph is, and Matthew Booker, you've just said you were doing it now by the sounds of it. Just wondering how many other YouTubers there are watching out. Dire Slimes Market, and I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering your name there. Thanks very much for the super chat there. That's really appreciated. That's very, very kind of you. I wouldn't say I have a store close to me. I live in Denmark. I have about an hour and 15 minutes to the Lego. Oh, that's a nice one to get to though, isn't it? Now that is worth the drive. You know, getting to the Lego house, I'd happily drive an hour and a quarter to get there, and I'm sure others would as well. I don't know if anyone else watched Ralph's video today. Ralph, I saw your homage to Bricksart today. You were struggling to get everything in on the camera, I noticed, with them huge boxes. Your lighting could do with being a little bit better as well, maybe. Yeah, and you know I'm only joking. So lots of common non-sellers. Got to be very selective. I'm close to Legoland Florida and have had great luck with their pick-a-brick walls. Lots of uncommon items and some rare and non-productive items. Yeah, nice if you're in those kind of locations. Must be great. I've been to the Florida store, and yeah, it is nice. It's always good to check out other stores when you're traveling. I mean, obviously I've done things like the New York stores, and in some ways maybe slipped up there because I bought tons of the sand green in New York, and I've probably still got tons of it left. So I went a little bit over the top there with that, I think. And I dare say everyone, all sellers who go to New York are probably doing that. I did get some nice things there though. I remember getting some dark tan jumper plates that seemed to go really well. When do you get the 4 Rayco units then, Colin? Yeah, so I ordered them today. For those who don't know, I was looking, asking around for the cheapest price on the Rayco units that I use, and I was staggered by the price that they'd gotten to. So I'd bought my last lot at about £17 in the UK, and I bought a pallet full of them. So even though I bought a pallet full, I only got them probably a couple of pounds cheaper, but £17 was, or just under £17 was a great price. When I looked yesterday on the same store, they were asking about £32 for the same units. I'd looked on eBay and found them for about 25, 26, and then I reached out to the seller, asked them if they'd do a discount on 4, and they gave me an offer, so I got them for £22.50 each. And that's just to finish a little section of wall that I've got. Now that I've taken all the shelves down above my desk, for those of you who are familiar with my setup, I've got a little bit more space, so I'm just adding 4 more cabinets to the end of a wall. So they're coming Monday, just to answer your question. Mainly watch me, Pops and Ralph. I think that's a fairly common combo. I know there's other guys out there with just a brick and a bucket. Seems to be a popular one, especially with the American audience. I think it's not one I've watched a lot of myself, and I think what has been good with them, I think, is they've done some of the collaborations with the Great Brick Lab and David West, and it's good to see their meetups and see them tour some of those stores has been quite interesting. I know that I think most of the people or a lot of people who watch mine are obviously UK sellers, and I think they tend to think it's nice that there's a UK vlogger on, I guess, because there's so many from across the pond. Willy Brick Store, I'm a vlogger since beginning of last year. I'll have to check that out. You watch some fella called Ralph Team Briggs. Yeah, that Ralph, he gets everywhere. You made Islami's Market, you made the animated intro pop painting the Lego canvas for Pop's Block Shop. Oh, that's a claim to fame, isn't it? I've seen, I don't know if you've seen, what's he called? He'll kill me for not remembering his name now, but the one that's got the Lego built intro, Brick Slayer. He's got a great little brick built intro that I think he just got someone to do off Fiverr, which was really good. Colin, you go to Liverpool and Manchester stores, so you do utilise the pub store then, or the pub wall rather. Ralph, you didn't frame it. Lights are fine. No need to spend money on lights. Yes, good advice. I should have taken it. Hampus Johnson, I watch your content for a year. Started my Bricklink store in Sweden this Christmas. I appreciate all the tips you brought me over the year. Much appreciated. You're welcome. That's what it's all about. Just sharing with the community and just helping others along. That's how I learned, to be honest. And I think we've had this chat before, and Ralph might be interested to hear what people like you think. There's always a dilemma, I think, of being a vlogger and encouraging other people to, join Bricklink and, essentially become your competition. But I don't see it that way. I think whatever tips we're sharing, people have to implement them. It's all about how you implement them, I think. Colin Williams, tend to buy smaller parts only, for example 1x4 white tiles. I've got about 550 in a cup, sell 6p each. Yeah, 1x4. I got tons of 1x4s from the brick pickers purchase, and I think I sold 1,000 of them the other day. And I've still got loads of them left, to be honest with you. I think, like others have said, I think tiles are great when they're on there. But I know that the 2x tiles I don't tend to be on there too much. I've still got tons of 1x grey tiles that sell really well. Do I have an affiliate code for the storage units? I don't have an affiliate code, but if you look up Rapid Online on eBay, funnily enough, Rapid were the company that I bought from previously, direct from their website, and I got them to do a quote previously, and that's where I got them for £16 something. But it's their website that was showing me £32, and yet the same company on eBay were doing them for 25. And then when I asked for a discount, they gave me them for £22.50. So I don't really know how that works, to be honest. One thing that sometimes almost makes sense to buy in Lego stores is items from Build a Minifigure wall, where you can pack the trays, 3 figs with the parts, and the stuff is okay. Right, so you don't need to actually build the minifigure, you can just put the rarer parts into those. you've got to be careful, obviously, that they're really good parts, because those minifigures are about a £5 a time, are they, or more than that? What's the going price these days for the minifigure, build a minifigure trays? I've got my missus there saying she's watching from the front room. You should be watching your Coronation Street or whatever it is you're watching. I'm getting a bit thin on the ground in here. I think I'm going to have to pull up another tray in a minute. I don't necessarily want to sort every single part in here. Pops Block Shop. Hi Pops, how you doing? I thought you were on holiday or something, because I saw in one of your vlogs that you were not going to be vlogging for a few weeks. I assumed you were going away, but I guess that's not the case. Congrats on the new arrival to the family as well, by the way. Brixar, yeah. STFC with skits. I like Brixar also. Brixar's a really good guy. I used to watch him a lot. I tend not to watch many now, I must admit. I think you know, when you're working with this all day long, it can get a bit wearing, can't it? So I go through phases. Obviously I check in on Pops once in a while, and Ralph we watch, of course, and more for the humour than anything else, Ralph. But yeah, not too many others. As I said, I've kind of just been watching a little bit of Brick in a Bucket. These are always good as well, these little medals. Karen Page making him a cup of tea. I don't need a tea. I've got my, I don't know if you can see this, I've got my bud here, so I'll get a cup of tea a little bit later. How am I finding the postal system at the moment, Colin? It's okay at the moment, thankfully. Things are going well for me. You know, no strikes at the moment, and no issues with deliveries or anything like that. I did hear today, though, I was talking to the lady at the post office when I dropped my post today, and she said they were waiting for the results of the latest ballot. So depending on what those results are, of course, we'll find out if there's going to be any more strike action. And I'm hoping that there won't be, of course, but who knows. Other than that, though, it's been fine. The big disaster for me was the international cyber attack, which was horrendous. Hampus Johnson, is a British post fixed? I don't know what you mean by that. Mark Dixon, I think you should use that group of being on the web to get pads from the UK. Yeah, I thought that group had sort of disbanded. I haven't seen that lately, to be honest with you. I know there was a Facebook group. You could go on there, and people who visited the pad walls would get you would get you cups, and I think the deal was that they took skimmed a little bit off the top of the cup, and which was fine, you know, and you just paid for your postage and everything was good. But I thought that got disbanded, to be honest. Is that not the case, Mark? I like your comment, Ralph. I thought Derek would be at all your live streams, Ralph. Matthew Duncan, what's up, fellow brick sellers? Hi Matthew, welcome. Just looking for any more. Evening, I'm not a Bricklink seller, but do enjoy watching the sheer madness of people who do this for a living. Thanks, Vulture. It's strange, isn't it, what you find enjoyment watching, even when you're not necessarily directly involved in it. I think I mentioned this last time I was on. I found myself watching hours of YouTube, just odd stuff that I don't even know why I'm watching it half the time. But it's all interesting stuff, and you know, YouTube, I could just, to be honest, just get lost in it and, you know, spend forever. I'd be interested to know actually, watching the missus having a conversation. I forgot what I was going to say now. Sort of while under the influence, how do you get them in the right cups? I don't. This is just for a charade, all of this anyway, really. It's really just to give my hands something to do while I'm talking. Now, I'm just putting weapons in there. Just keep it simple on these live streams, because I find it hard to talk and do things at the same time, you know. And I think I said last time, I'm not normally the biggest talker. I should have got the missus in for that. She can talk for England. But maybe that's next time. Not a full-time thing for me, Vulture, side gig, but it's enjoyable. 95% in the ballot. What does that mean, Martin? Have they decided to go on strike again? Oh, will be more strikes, but no dates confirmed yet. That's great, that. I'm not really sure what they're asking for anymore, to be honest with you. I've sort of lost track of it all and what they're really wanting from this. And to be honest, I would have thought, you know, with all of the, not just the strike action, but the cyber attack and everything, you'd think even the postal workers themselves, you know, wouldn't want, you know, more bad press for the company, you know, because they all want the jobs at the end of the day as well. So sorry, there's nothing super interesting in this lot to show you. All just basic accessories, and I think we all know how time-consuming accessories can be, but valuable nonetheless. What else we got? Jimmy Porter. Who watches soaps, Colin? My wife, I think you'll find. She likes a Coronation Street and EastEnders and what have you, but not me. That's why I'm in here. It's quite a nice deal, actually. I can come in here and spend a couple of hours on an evening doing whatever I want before we sit down together and watch a movie or something. Willy Brick Store, thanks anyway. Sorry you got to go, but thanks for popping in. Mark, you're admin of the group, over 1,300 members, all going strong. Had a change of admin and everything is awesome. Oh, that's good to hear. I'll have to try that again then, because I heard there was a bit of a hoo-ha with the I assume the previous admin, and I sort of dropped off Facebook then. I don't do a lot on Facebook, to be honest. I'm in Colin's group, which is a really good group for UK based Bricklink and Brick Owl sellers, and in fact we had someone start an initiative of having a kind of group call once a month on there, which was really good. So taking part in one of those, and that was good. And there'll be more of those, one each month. So a whole load of sellers get on the call at the same time and just have a chat about how things are going. So check that group out if that's something you'd be interested in. Yeah, you're right, Pops. It's, yeah, you can't concentrate and do the live streaming thing at the same time. It's really difficult. I do plan though to do the live streams fairly regular, maybe every couple of weeks. I don't want to bore people too much, but I think it's nice maybe every couple of weeks to pop on and have a bit of a chat, see how things are going with people, and you know, we'll see how they go. And if people find that they're not interesting, or there's no value in it, then that's fine, and we'll you know, stop doing them, and we'll think of some of the other content. I have got other content that I keep meaning to do as well, but it's just, as anyone knows in this game, it's just time. You end up getting, you know, caught up in all sorts of things, not just you know, the day job. And someone asked me on a question on my channel the other day, what hours do you work? And it'd be interesting to see what you guys do, especially anyone on here who's full-timers. You know, I do probably, I don't do crazy hours like Pops, but I do probably 8 till 6 every day, Monday to Friday. I don't post on a Saturday. I post Monday to Saturday, Monday to Friday, sorry. But I find, you know, I'm in here for a couple of hours on an evening as well, because this is kind of my, believe it or not, my relaxation space as well, where I spend my time on my computer, and, you know, just while a few hours away doing other, sometimes non-Lego-y things. But of course, because I'm in here and because I'm surrounded with things to do, I find I'm either doing some video editing or some admin or even a bit of sorting or whatever. So you know, you find your hours just get eaten up. And I've heard people like Pops and Ralph, who you know, I'll often hear them comment on the vlogs that, you know, they've been sat watching TV and sorting stuff. So I don't think it's unique to me. I think a lot of people who are doing this, you know, it's about being productive and about, you know, doing as much as you can in the hours you've got. And it's all about, you know, what you can do to drive revenue, to build income. Obviously that's what it's about. We're trying to make a living here. So you know, if I don't do anything, I'm often not earning any money, you know. So Budweiser, you import American water. Yeah, I just find it really easy to drink, Ralph. It's not, you know, it's not good if you want to get drunk, but it's really easy, and it's really cheap here as well, which is a big plus. So yeah, it's one of my beers of choice, although I do prefer Estrella at the moment, I must admit, but that's been a bit pricey lately. And I was bought some Peroni for my birthday, so I'll have them to get through next. But yeah, American water suits me just fine. Yeah, Pops, I can see why you don't live stream too much. I mean, it does eat your time, but I think it's good to sort of, you know, good for the community, if you like, and just to, you know, have a chat with people, build a bit more rapport. And, you know, the reason I haven't done it before, to be quite honest with you, is because I was always worried about this aspect of watching the chat, you know, trying to talk all the time, and you know, thinking of interesting things to say. And that's where you guys come in and hopefully, you know, comment and ask questions and what have you. But we'll see how it goes, you know. And funnily enough, when I did the last live stream, I just turned it on. I wasn't really expecting anyone to turn up, and I really enjoyed that one. I found with this one, because I planned it in advance, I almost felt a bit more nervous about it for some reason. I was trying to make sure everything was set up right, you know, but yeah, that's how it goes. But we'll get used to it. Ralph, you don't live stream because Pops won't show up to your live streams. Well, I don't know what you're doing wrong. Guava King, can I manage to catch this? How are you finding the streaming? Yeah, as I was just saying, I find it, you know, a little bit challenging, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Funnily enough, I think it was probably, I don't know if any of you watch is it Dotu Bricks, or I saw him live streaming a couple of times, and I just thought, you know, I might as well give it a go. Why not? If you're not live streaming with a GoPro on your head, are you even doing live streaming right? Now, I don't, you know, I think that's probably aimed at pops, I assume, but I've not tried the camera on the head approach yet. I could do with it, but you know, it's hard doing what we do and vlogging with one hand a lot of the time, as you'll have all seen in the various vlogs. And I'm not the best. I can't walk around like Pops does. I get out of breath walking at the end of my room. How do you go to any of the Lego shows, Keith? Colin, I haven't been to many of the shows in the last year or two, probably since before COVID. I used to go to the shows more when I saw this more as a hobby, you know, and I'd go because I'd want to see what people had, and I'd want to obviously buy sets and that. But as I've said a few times in the past, you know, when I started doing this full time, I stopped considering this a hobby. So I don't really go to many shows at all. I certainly don't go to any shows to sell, if that's what you meant. I know Pops does loads of that. I think one of my reasons for not doing shows is because I'm not really as minifig based like Pops is, or Ralph, and maybe I should be, but I'm just not at the moment. So in fact I turned a show down recently, one that's near me, for that exact reason, because I thought, what do I do at the show if I'm not selling minifigs? What else is there to do? I mean, I know that I could go and sell bulk, and, you know, maybe have a bulk table with cups and fill a cup and things like that. But I don't have many sets to sell, and I don't have many minifigs, so it's not something that I felt sort of comfortable doing. Plus, I thought for the size of shows that we're talking about, I don't think they're like the ones, at least the one I was going to invited to is not like the ones that Pops goes to. So the footfall isn't as big, so I didn't think it was worth the investment in time and effort in prepping and going and being there all day and all of that kind of stuff. So that's really why I haven't done many shows. Crossroads, you guys talking about soaps with Crossroads and things. God, I don't know how you can watch them. Ralph, I need something to occupy my mind with the TV, or else I'm looking for something and not working. The hardest part is finding something to watch. Why I like Dr. Disrespect is great to just pop on. Yeah, Dr. Disrespect's the streamer, isn't he, Ralph? That I think I heard you talk about a couple of times when you were looking at OBS. I'm just going to grab another tray here. Yeah, I watch all sorts, to be honest. I've put stuff on about the Ukraine war, or obviously I've been looking at a lot about sort of streaming and things like that lately. I like a lot of graphics stuff, so I watch things like that. I watch all sorts of stuff. I don't watch TV or movies while I'm sorting, because I just can't concentrate, to be honest. I can't sort of follow a story and pay enough attention. I'd just be I'd be too worried. I think that I'm missing the storyline. Your stream is motivating me to eBay list. It's nice having company. Well, that's good. eBay is another thing that I'm letting slide at the moment with, you know, the store integration. It's another thing that I should be doing much better, and I know how much success Pops and Ralph have with that in the US, and I've heard plenty of other people, you know, say they do well with it as well. I mean, obviously I have the store set up, but I only have a few hundred items on there at any particular time. I'd like to get that built up a bit more, to be honest. But one of the problems that I find is just, you know, it's where to spend your time, isn't it? You know, you can literally spend 24/7 doing this and never be finished. So you have to think about, you know, where your time's best spent. What are the tasks that you want to achieve this week, and you know, focus on those things, I guess. I did at one point have a schedule that I'd put together where I'd planned to spread things out across the week. So, you know, I'd do some parts of the week would be dedicated to eBay, and others to partying out, and others to uploading. But I just found I wasn't sticking to it, to be honest with you. Grava King, notice your guitars on the wall. I picked up a 96 SG Standard the other day. Love it. Ah, nice. Yeah, I have my guitars on my wall, but to be honest, I haven't played in years, and I'm really not much of a player. It's one of the things that you know, I'm the type of person that gets into a hobby and then, you know, spends a fortune on things, you know, buying bits of equipment and what have you. So yeah, those were expensive purchases. Skitsprix is saying, yeah, Dotu, yeah. He's got an incredible basement. I don't know, Ralph and Pops, if you've seen his setup, he puzzles me, because he's got this amazing setup, but he seems to be being really careful about how he's opening the store up, which I find a little bit puzzling. I mean, if it were me, I'd just be opening up and you know, letting people in and you know, buy as much as they want. He seems to be being very careful about how he opens. I presume he doesn't want to get bombarded with orders with the amount of stuff that he's got, but he's building his store really quickly. Yeah, Colin, that's the beauty of yeah, being your own boss and being self-employed. Come and go as you please. You're saying you're there at 7:30, stay till 4. Also Saturday or Sunday, but only for 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, I've found with the change in the postal system, those of you who've watched my my blog will have seen me often moan about a Monday, because for me, I drop my post at the depot, which for me closes at 12 lunchtime. So I've had to adjust what I do, and I've started where I'm doing a few hours on a Sunday evening, just to kind of get ahead on the Monday start, because otherwise I just wouldn't get the orders picked and out on a Monday. And I always like to get orders out the same or next working day at the absolute latest. And obviously over the weekend you've got everything coming in from Friday evening through to you know, Monday morning, so you need to get ahead. Team Briggs, just go there to sign autographs. Go where? Done a lot. Oh, to the shows. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can't see many people wanting my autograph. Can you? Done a lot of shows over the last 3 years as a trader. Some are really good, others are a waste of time. Yeah, I assume they're very hit and miss. I've only done one show in the past, which was a local show, and I did a lot more minifigs back then, and I felt a lot more comfortable. I had tons of poly bags and stuff like that, but I don't want to get into the situation where I feel like I'm having to buy in items just to take to a show with me, you know. I just don't want to get into that, to be quite honest. Do you watch Ian's Bricks? No, I don't watch Ian's Bricks. I'm aware of him being you know, doing vlogs, but not one that I've watched a lot, to be honest. To be quite honest with you, until fairly recently, I had a period where I stopped watching anybody's because I just felt a bit burnt out on it all, and I was doing my own, and I just stopped altogether. Little build there it's from the Ant-Man set, I think, isn't it? And I stopped altogether, but I've started watching again over recent weeks, and have really sort of you know, enjoyed just putting them on in the background while I'm doing other things. Mostly when I'm sat at my desk. If I'm doing activities that are at my desk, I'll put a video on. If I'm not at my desk, then I will typically be listening to podcasts or music. Actually, I've got a question for Pops if he's still on here, because sometimes I listen to Pops's vlogs and he's got the radio on, and I often wonder if you don't get a copyright strike or demonetized because of the audio playing. It's something I've always been afraid of doing. Otherwise, I'd maybe just leave my music going while I'm talking. So it'd be interesting to know if you've had any problems with that. Dr. Disrespect is a video game streamer. He's on Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Friday, and streams for 8+ hours a day. So it's easy to just put him on. I did, after you mentioned him on one of your vlogs about the OBS stuff, I did check him out, and I just found him, I don't know, not my kind of content, to be honest. What's that there? Is that a mini build from a Star Wars or something? Looks kind of like it. Schedule lasted about a week. Yeah, it did. Didn't last very long. It was full of good intent though, Mark. And I still think about that, and it's still something that I think in an ideal world, I would like to have that kind of schedule. And I guess there are some things that are subconsciously scheduled that you do regularly. And I know that, again, you know, people like Pops and Ralph, you know, they have their eBay stores that they restock regularly. So yeah, it's something I'd like to, you know, spend more time on, and you know, work to a schedule more, you know, more intentionally, I guess. I think that's a key word, intentionality. I think when you're doing this, being intentional about what you're doing each day, 'cause it's so easy to get sidetracked and go off on a different tangent because you've just thought of something else. You know what I mean? I've had some, you know, suggestions of people of late with things like selling bulk instruction books on eBay or something like that, but I haven't got the time for it, to be honest with you. It's something I could do, but it's just so time consuming, and for relatively little return, I would think. So yeah, not something I've really done. I don't think, I was going to say I don't think you want to hear me sing, Colin, but a little known fact was I used to do a lot of singing in my youth in various bands, but I'm still not going to sing for you. Just to browse, Colin, go to the Blackpool one, book to go to York in April. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy those shows. Yeah, nice to see and see what other people are, you know, doing. One of my big passions is football and following my football team, so I tend to you know, punish myself, I guess, with making sure I'm around to watch my team every week. I don't get to the games. I support Middlesbrough, and I don't live in Middlesbrough or anywhere near it. So I watch every game remotely, but I watch it live, and so that, you know, stops us doing a lot of things. And you know, my wife suffers a lot with us. You know, she wants to go somewhere on a Saturday, and we have to make sure we're back for 3 o'clock for me to watch that. Colin, you enjoy seeing people's creations. Good to meet some of my customers too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, good to see what other people create. I don't know if you just saw. I don't think you watched my vlog, Colin. I don't know if you do or not. But there was a couple of guys I had in the house here a week or two ago. One of them was a guy who organised the local show that I was referring to earlier, but also a guy who creates mocks for Rebrickable, and he was telling me how lucrative that was. You know, so that was really interesting. But so you're right, it's good to meet other people who are buying from you. He was buying from me and picking up locally so that he could physically build a mock that he was just about to upload, and I showed that on my vlog, and it was a really nice little build. He seemed to specialize in like mini builds of sets, and particularly sort of modulars and things like that. But yeah, it's good to meet our customers for sure. Team Briggs, always catching Ian's Bricks new vids. Not too many other than Back's Investments to watch besides Keith. There's not a lot of UK vloggers doing it. I know, I'm aware of Back's Investment. He seems to be buying a lot of, I think he's doing a bit of investment as well as Bricklink. I'm not really sure. I don't really watch many of his as I said earlier, really it's mostly Pops and Ralph and a bit of Brick in the Bucket. Great Brick Lab doesn't really do vlogs anymore, but you know, I'm quite interested in that perspective. You know, that when you see stores like that, and I've really only seen them in the US. So some of you guys, Mark and Colin, you know, you might know other people in the UK. I don't know anyone like the big sellers in the US who've got these big warehouses, employing multiple staff, mostly, if not exclusively, doing used in huge scales. I'm just not aware of anybody like that in the UK, really. The biggest one I know in the UK is was Bricks in Bloom. I know they've changed the name recently to, is it Brick Lane Toys or something like that. They're the nearest thing I know to that. They've got about 3 million parts, but I don't know many that follow that model, like the Great Brick Lab or what David West's doing, or any of those guys. Hillian's Bricks getting a mention as well. Team Briggs, you can have my autograph for free. You don't have to pay for sure. Just see this London Feb 16 writers. Thousands of workers of Britain's Royal Mail have voted in favour of further strikes. Yeah, they were talking about that earlier, Mark, and one of the other guys said there's definitely going to be more strike action, which is a real pain. I'll have to try more of this Dr. D that you keep talking about, Ralph. See what he's like, see what the big attraction is. Maybe it's just not, I don't know, maybe the humour just doesn't carry. I don't know. Here you're talking about Hillian's Bricks having Patreon. Again, not something I've done, the Patreon thing. I think some of the other guys have dabbled a bit with memberships and things. Maybe they can comment, I don't know, but it's not something I've done. That the only thing I do is have the Ko-fi page that, you know, I'll sometimes drop a mention to, you know, if people feel that they get value and can, you know, pay for a coffee, then I really appreciate it. But I've not gone the route of memberships. I mean, I can see the attraction, to be honest, from you know, a vlogger, a creator's point of view of you know, trying to grow the revenue stream, you know, being totally transparent. I mean, that's partly why we do vlogs, partly why we do other things. It's, you know, you don't earn much for them, but you earn something. At least you do once you've got more than 1,000 subscribers and more than, is it 4,000 hours of watch time? But it's next to nothing. I mean, to be honest, you know, what I earn a month is absolute peanuts. It's the value of a couple of orders, probably. Oh, Brick Cycle, disappointed Blades fan last night. Yeah, we were awesome last night. We're so pleased that, don't take it the wrong way, I'm so pleased we beat you. I was hopeful that we would, and I think you need to keep looking over your shoulder, because I honestly, I think we're going to finish second. So there you go. Mark, you're saying if you did Bricklink full time, you would sign up for Patreon. So you mean you'd sign up to be a member? I don't see the value. I don't really know what he does, but I don't, you know, I'm not one for paying those things myself, to be honest with you. If I invested in Lego, I would do it with Wolf of Bricks. Not really familiar with Wolf of Bricks. I think I know there's a channel that does lots of investment stuff. I assume that's them that you're referring to. I don't get that either, why he caps the levels on the Patreon. Is that just to generate more, I don't know, more sort of demand, if you like? People think they're missing out on something that they can't get into. Not really sure. Yeah, I'd be interested, Martin, to sort of see some feedback on people, though. And, you know, people saying that there's data there telling you which are the best parts to buy. Well, again, you know, if everyone's buying the same parts, then isn't everybody just competing with each other? And to be honest, for someone like me, it's not worth it, because I ain't buying anything at the moment. You know, I've got a container full of stuff, so I'm not looking to buy anything, which is why I don't really take much notice on the deals side of things at the moment, because I'm not really looking to spend any money on those. I've made my investment with the bulk and the rest of the container full of stuff that I got, and I'll spend time working my way through that, and when I have, or you know, when cash flow is better, then maybe I'll look for more deals at that point and get things. But Colin, yeah, Everton fan, you're struggling this year, I know. I've seen a few of your posts about Everton, and I don't follow the Premiership too much. I might if we're in it next year, but not generally. See you, Colin. I'll catch up with you later. Thanks for stopping by and contributing. I'll talk to you soon. Matthew Reynolds, you just built a shed, 16 foot by 10 at the end of the garden. I think that's a common thing, isn't it? Lots of people working out of sheds. I know at one point, Brick Pickers, who I bought the store off, was working out of a shed for a long time. And then a garage, and Shed Colin's just gone, but I think he has an industrial unit of sorts. I don't know much about it, but I know he's, you know, he's there. I think there's, you know, a lot of pros and cons to, you know, where you set up. And I can see, you know, some people going into kind of commercial premises where they can think about having the Bricklink store at the back and sell some things at the front. And I think, you know, if I was a younger man, then it might have been something I might have thought of along the line somewhere. But for me, and my plans and my time scale for being involved in Bricklink, it's not worthwhile for me. This is going to be the extent of my involvement, sort of working from home. And there's a lot of pluses to that, you know, the fact that we, I think Colin said earlier, you know, you can be in your own boss, you do what you want, you work as long as you want, and you know, the convenience of just popping downstairs and getting started is so much better than having to think about going to you know, an external premises where you got to travel to, so you got travel time. And then for me personally, I do other things through the day, so I'll have to you know, pick my granddaughter up and things like that at certain times, so I'd have to be leaving the, you know, those premises to go and do those jobs, and just much easier for me doing it from home. Works so much better. So how are we doing? Are you all getting fed up of me yet? Keith had a 2,000 part order off you last week at the start of the week. 3 lots all white. Ah, Team Briggs, that was you. We talked about that earlier with the 1x4s. I think it was 1x4. Oh, they were 1x4 bricks, not plates, weren't they? I think. Did you get to the bottom of the counting issues? Or did you do any more about it? I never saw a reply to you know, my comments about how I was weighing, etc. Those scales that we've got, I don't know if you saw my comment about that. There is an adjustment where you can use the processor that's built into the scales to do the counting rather than the display, and it's apparently a much more accurate way of measuring, but you know, how true that is I don't know, but it is in the manual. If you've got the manual there for the scales, it'll tell you something about that, and it's meant to be more accurate, as I say. And I think a lot of people miss that when they get the scales. Thanks, Team Briggs. Talking about the shows again and meeting up. Yeah, it would be good to meet a lot of people that I talk to on the various groups, and you know, on the channel here. Obviously, you've built up, you know, a number of people that are regulars that you know, always leave comments, or at least leave comments fairly frequently. And it'd also be nice, you know, even when I get over to the US to meet up with some of the guys over there. It'd be great to meet up with Ralph and Derek, you know, at some point maybe. Actually, me and the missus have actually been looking at a vacation this year, and we favour going to the US. US is our you know, destination of choice when it comes to holidays, but we're really not sure where to go this year in the US. So we're thinking maybe San Fran or somewhere like that. You know, or we like the south. We did a big road trip a few years ago, which was really nice. Into you know, that whole section at the bottom from New Orleans to Memphis and Nashville, Atlanta, Savannah, and we ended up with Charleston, I think, which was really nice around there. Also, Bricklink, we can find out the part out value with a set and a part. I use it all the time at the Lego stores I go to. So Matthew, you're talking about part outs. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. I'm sure I know you're chatting to other guys there, but you might have seen what I use for getting part out values. I use various shortcuts on my phone that I created. So if I'm stood in the store or I'm stood at a supermarket or whatever, I can quickly punch in a set number and it'll give me the part out value, and it's really quick and easy. And that's what I have on the Stream Deck as well, those kind of buttons. I've shown them on a few of the vlogs, so they're really useful to get those kind of things. Yeah, Mark, you're talking about the basements in the US. Yeah, I mention the basements quite often to Ralph. He knows of my jealousy of the size of the basements those guys have got. We can only dream over here, I'm afraid. And that's why I think in the UK it's more likely that you have to go and find a premises if you want something big, or as big as some of the setups that the US guys have. Then you've really got to go and look for, you know, some kind of warehouse or some kind of storage facility. I mean, even look at me, you know, I'm just working out of the room here. You've all probably seen the room many times, and you know, I've got you know, 30-40 foot container that I've, you know, I'm having to pay for to store things. But that's just the way it is. There's no way I could store that all at home, so it just has to be done. Steve from the Back to Tank, no worries about missing this. You'll be able to watch it on catch up as well. You know, you can watch a replay. You don't have to catch it live, but of course it's nice when people catch it live because you can interact and, you know, have a bit of chat amongst ourselves, which is really nice. Brick outside the box, enjoying the live stream, thanks. Southwest Bricks UK, hi Keith, I'm looking to acquire another Bricklink store. What tips do you have? I assume that is. Yeah, oh sorry, yeah, you've written that. I don't know if it was you I said to before. I do intend to do a video on some tips. I mean, you know, the obvious ones are, you know, make sure you've got a BSX file. Make sure that you're doing all the various assessments and comparisons in the BSX file. You know, the beauty of having Brickstore and using the Brickstore files is there's lots of ways you can slice and dice that. So you need to be looking at the Brickstore file in lots of ways to see what sort of volume of parts they've got, what's the difference or the balance between new and used. What obviously you want to reprice it to your way of pricing so that you're not looking at the you're not just taking the price that they've listed it at as gospel. You need to be repricing it. You want to slice and dice it so that you're comparing it with your own inventory and looking at which lots you've already got. So have a look at what additional lots is it going to give you by buying in the store. Those are the things that immediately come to mind. And obviously when buying a store, you want as much information and as many pictures or videos, anything that the seller can give you to give you as much information to base your you know, your decision on. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But as I said, I do intend you know, doing maybe a little video on that. And my idea was to do 2 videos. One which will talk about, you know, things to look for when buying a store, and then a second video would look back at my acquisition of the Bricklinkers store, and I would show you, you know, the exact BSX file that I got, the pictures that I got, and you know, walk through maybe how I slice and dice that file a little bit to just make an assessment of it. And then if I'm feeling in the right mood, I'll tell you what I paid for it. And then I'll be interested to hear what you all think when I tell you how much I paid. Regarding the scales, no, I haven't looked into the manual. I have to have a look at that, but not bothered with such a small difference. So thanks. I appreciate, you know, how, you know, difficult the situation is. You know, obviously not knowing, you know, the exact number without manually counting them all, which neither of us wanted to do. But you know, happy to do whatever you're happy with there. And it was nice that you got them nice and quickly, I think, and hopefully everything is all right. Delio Bricks, if you ever make it back to Orlando, Florida, let me know. I'll have to buy you a Budweiser, thanks. Florida is actually on the list, not necessarily for this year, but I think we're thinking about coming to Florida with all of the family. I've been to Florida, you know, lots of times in the past, and now that I've got grandchildren, it would be nice for us all to go. And when I say all, I've got 3 sons, all with partners and all with a child each. So it would be nice to get there all together and, you know, experience what Orlando has to offer. It's a great place to visit, to go to the parks and things like that. And it's just I don't know how you guys are finding it over there at the moment, but the price just seems crazy for us. You know, it's yeah, a bit scary when you're looking at the prices at the moment, and car hire and hotels, everything is just astronomical. I mean, I know it's expensive here as well for things, but yeah, crazy. Skits Bricks, you're in Atlanta. Yeah, so we were, as I was saying, we were in Atlanta a few years ago, and we went to Sonoya as well, which isn't far from Atlanta, which is where The Walking Dead's filmed. It was a lovely little town. One of the things I love about the US is, and my wife's the same, is we love going to the small towns. So, you know, we've done lots of sort of big cities and things, but we really love the really small towns. So went to Texas a few years ago and San Antonio area, and just going to places like Green and you know, little sort of townships, villages almost. You know, really nice, quaint places. Daddy Bricks. All talking about going to Florida, I think. 16. We're talking about the weather. Yeah, well, weather's not great in the UK for sure at the moment. Matthew Reynolds, it was about the Patreon thing, so part of that value I can do myself in store or anywhere. Alright, a Patreon. I get you now. Thanks, Matthew, for the clarification. I'm still totally confused by it, to be honest. You know, if we're talking about part out values and things, I'm still a bit, you know, puzzled as to what the information really gives me. And I know he's, you know, slicing and dicing lots of data direct from Bricklink, you know, doing lots of, you know, lookups through the API and getting data for a bunch of sets, which I think a lot of people can do. I mean, obviously they haven't, and so he's, you know, he's doing well in doing that and showing it, you know, good initiative in all of that stuff. I just for me, it's just, you know, I don't see the value in it for me personally at the moment. No Jack Daniels for me. I'm actually not into spirits, Team Briggs. I had that issue on my birthday. Someone wanted to buy me something, but yeah, I'm not a spirits guy. I just like a little beer. And that's it. Brickmark, you're moving to Kentucky next year from Northampton in the UK. How come? That's a big move. Why Kentucky? I assume, is that work? Is it, you know, what's the story behind that? Mark Dixon, what was your first Lego set you got as a kid? What is the last set wanted, but as you're not collecting now, you didn't buy? Mine was a Post Office 6362 and the Galaxy Explorer. Gosh, I don't know the set numbers off the top of my head. Lego for me when I was a kid, and bear in mind I was 60 last week, so you know, when I was a kid was a long time ago, so you know, trying to remember that sort of stuff is not easy. But when I was a kid, I remember having lots of Lego around that wasn't necessarily mine. So I have 3 older sisters, and there was definitely Lego around, and I actually still have some of that Lego somewhere, not in sets, in parts, you know, old windows and what have you. And some of it is literally from like 1959 or something like that. It's, you know, ridiculous. But in terms of the actual sets that I would have had personally, would have been the classic space sets. So I don't know the number, but you know, the little classic space vehicles would have been the first things. And the one I distinctly remember having those bases with the moon craters and that stuff. In terms of what I would have liked to have bought, but haven't because I'm not collecting anymore, would be the modulars. You know, the last couple of modulars I haven't bought since the police station to build. So the police station and the last couple of modulars since then as well, including the latest one. But I also really like the look of the recent castle set that they made. That just looked incredible. But yeah, Matthew, sometimes you think you'd like to sell your store and start again, and knowing what I know now, numbering, storage and parting out. Yeah, I think it's something we probably all think about a little bit, and I know it's so the numbering is the big thing, I think, and storage is the big thing that people trip up on, I think, when they get started, because you know, we choose a system when we begin, and you know, it's maybe not the best, or they stop being readily available. I think some of the guys in the US have had that problem. What was it you used to get? I can't remember the name of the drawers that everyone used to get from Bricks on the Dollar. Used to get them originally, and I think you're all getting the Acro Mills now. Over here, it seems possibly even worse, you know, because you get people getting the oldie containers seem really popular. There's the Rayco ones that I use. Then there's things like the Von House ones, which are the orange ones that I'm emptying at the moment. So it's always hard, you know, maintaining the right kind of storage. Obviously, I had a change recently, slightly with the drawers that I got from the acquisition, so that changed the way I store things a little bit. But you know, the Rayco units are something that I've stuck with. And as you will have heard earlier, possibly I've just ordered a few more to complete a wall that I've got here. But yeah, numbering is something that, you know, even now is causing me an issue. I mentioned earlier, you'll have a laugh in this week's vlog at a mistake I've made with numbering. I won't go into it now, but you'll see it in the vlog and have a laugh. And I think one of the reasons I bought the extra Rayco units that I've got coming is because of these blue drawers behind me. It's probably better if I use this hand. These blue drawers are ready to be numbered, and I'm a bit concerned about how I number them, because I don't necessarily want to follow the numbers on from the drawers, because those are quite movable, and I can imagine at some point I might actually move where those live. So I don't want to affect my sort of picking route too much with that. So I might, you know, I'm trying to think about maybe giving them a unique reference, but then that's part of where I fall down, because, you know, these other things behind me here have sort of unique numberings as well. You know, they all started in the top corner, SAA, SAB, SAC, etc. But, you know, I think I have, if I think about it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got 6 different numbering systems on different containers, which will probably horrify most of you. But, you know, it works. And the main thing is, as long as you know where the drawer is that you need to go and pick something from, it doesn't really matter, does it, what the number is, in a way. But I do get what you mean, Matthew. It would sometimes be nice to go back and think, oh, maybe I'd organise it like this and I'd number it this way, and that would affect my pick path in a certain way. And that's one of the things I like about some of the guys that we watch, like Chris from the Great Brick Lab, for instance, where, you know, they really seem to scrutinise their processes and, you know, in depth. I've got time for that, to be honest with you. You know, my focus is always on getting as much sort of into the store. So my focus is always on upload, you know, get as much sorted, part it out, get it uploaded, and everything else will just sort of, you know, work itself out. Because at the end of the day, you know, as I said earlier, we're trying to sell Lego, and you can spend a lot of time, you know, prattling around with your systems, your storage, and everything else, but that's not making you money. So it's the way I see it anyway. Daddy Bricks, unfortunately the large tourist destination is very greedy right now. The offer stands even if it's in 2 years. Yeah, well, I'll definitely remember that and try and look you up if we do get there. Yeah, even if it is in a couple of years. Yeah, no worries. Would be nice. And Brick Outside the Box, and based in Austin. Austin, yeah, loved it when I went to Austin. South Antonio, it's full of, yeah, that's the area we loved. You know, that part between Austin and San Antonio. And I have a friend who lives in San Antonio actually, and we met them in Mi Tierra in which is a Mexican restaurant you'll know in San Antonio. And so we spent some days in San Antonio and some days in Austin and over there. But my friend who's in San Antonio told me to go to Cooper's, and that was just amazing. We went to Cooper's near New Braunfels or somewhere like that, and it was, yeah, that was amazing. Brickmark, your wife's from Kentucky and wants to move back to family, and you're British, hoping to move with work. Well, I've got to be honest, you know, when I was a lot younger, my wife and I were both very keen to move to the US, and then I guess over time, you know, as we had kids and commitments here and things, then that changed. But once upon a time, it would have been a dream to move to the US, and then, you know, I would have potentially had a big basement, you know, which would have been lovely. But it wasn't to be. Ralph, what are you asking for? What a Terry bats? I don't even know what they are. Ronald, just quickly stopping by to say thank you. I started my Bricklink store 4 years ago. At the time, your videos helped me a lot to get started. No problem, Ronald. Glad to be of help. Brick Outside the Box. We're talking back to Ralph. Ralph, second famous barbecue joint after Franklin's. What is Ralph? Cooper's? Is that the second? We went to we also went to Salt Lick when we were in Austin as well. That was a cool one as well. Salt Lick was nice. As I said, Franklin's is the one that everyone talks about, but I heard with Franklin's you've got to queue for about 4 hours before you actually get it. You've got to be there really early because it sells out in no time. How are we doing for time? Oh, time to wrap up, I think. Rares and Spares evening. Forgot about the different time zone. Hope to catch the start next time. No problem, Rares and Spares. You can watch the replay whenever it's available to catch up on what you missed. I'm not sure you missed an awful lot. Certainly not in terms of sorting, but in chat with the guys, certainly. Ralph Bricks, I think you focus on the process for your store when you have to train new employees all the time. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Ralph. Yeah, going back to, you know, the likes of Chris, and, you know, he's probably getting suggestions from the guys that he employs. They're the ones doing the work every day, so they're probably trying to tweak the processes. And yeah, you look for little efficiencies, don't you, when you've got employees like that. But for us one-man bands, you know, you tweak things on the go, don't you? Just ad hoc. One thing I do think that I'd like to do more, I don't know what you think about this, is I'd like to give myself more time to think a bit more strategically about how to do things. So there's some ideas that I've got about, you know, how I would maybe stock the store and things like that. But it's just having the time to really think that through. But the other thing for me beyond the time is having the spare funds and also time. You know, I mean, if I've got a container full of Lego there, I don't necessarily want to be looking elsewhere. You know, I know you and Pops put a lot of time into looking for minifig parts to rebuild figures and things, and that's something that I've not done much of at all. Something, you know, I'd like to do a bit more of, but just haven't really had the time to do that. Daddy or Bricks, if you want the drawers to stay in order of your pick path, play with different prefixes in a dummy brick store file to make sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. For me, it's not a massive problem, to be honest with you, because the way I do things is because I use Brick Freedom and I'm using the picking sheet. It's really easy to go around the room and pick the locations I'm near, jumping down the list. So I can miss a couple of lines and come back to them if I need to. So it's not the end of the world if, you know, I'm at the wrong end of the room. I'll just pick the bits that are at that end of the room and I'll come back as I make my way up. So not the end of the world for me. I can understand why it's important for the guys like the Great Brick Labs, because, you know, they've got a massive warehouse they've got to walk around, and you want to make sure that you're going around the right route and the most efficient process. For me, it doesn't really matter. Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, been a great evening. I need to get going myself, so we'll wrap this up now, I think. Skits Bricks, it's funny, US based, and my dream is to move to Europe. Yeah, we've all got different ideas on what we want to do. Is there a way to lock the search on Bricklink so you don't have to keep clicking on price guide every time you look up a part for the pricing? It defaults to another field. I'll have to come back to that on another chat. I think I need to wrap up and get going, I think, unfortunately. For me, if it stays on the price guide for me personally. I don't know if it's different if you're using a mobile device. Maybe it's different, not really sure, to be honest. Terry Black's is a barbecue joint in Austin. You like to go? All right, Terry Black's. I'll get you now. Not heard of that one, Ralph, to be honest. But I think there's lots of good ones in Austin. True about Franklin's. Lots of people pay college students to wait in line for them. Really, that is crazy. Skits Bricks, yeah, no problem. You're welcome. Thanks everyone for joining the stream. Hope you've enjoyed hanging out for what's just over an hour and a half now, I think. It's been fun. Good to, you know, keep in touch with people, have a chat, and it's more about the community and, you know, answering questions and things than the actual sorting. That, as I said earlier, that's really just something to, you know, keep the hands occupied while I'm chatting. So thanks everyone for stopping by, and I will do this again in a couple of weeks maybe. Thanks very much. Have a great evening, or whatever time zone you're in. Enjoy what's left of your day, and talk to you all soon.